Hello, everybody. Welcome once again, yet to another live. Why is everything easier but feels more difficult? I came across a comment today that I wanted to read to you that made me quite sad because more and more the reality of how life is changing is beginning to settle in. The dust is beginning to settle, and people are feeling the pinch, and families are feeling the impact. I'm 43, my business is declining. I've worked since I was 15, and now I feel like I have nothing left. This is a comment that was written in one of the podcasts that was speaking about AI. And not just that, a number of comments came through. I worry about my 8-year old's future more than my own. This is a genuine concern because we as adults might be able to ride this wave. But what about the future generation? When they go to school, what are they going to teach them? Is there going to be a need for them to go to engineering? Welcome to Pokes and Relationships. And today, I would like us to speak about how AI is indirectly affecting families. Here we speak everything relationships, and I hope that by the end of this, you'll be a little bit encouraged and also able to just think more clearly about the world that we're in right now and how to better navigate the future in terms of AI, technology, families, and where this world is going. I wanted to share this comment with you to make you realize that this new world, this disruption that has taken place is a very real thing that people are experiencing. And here's the strange part is that more and more, even though we are living in a connected society, in a society that is more convenient, it seems like the burden has relocated. It's literally shift focus. The focus is not necessarily AI jobs. The pressure is not necessarily I'm going to lose my job. Right now, it's okay. If you're a major breadwinner and you have a family, what does that mean for your kids? What does that mean for people that you're taking care of if you have family that you're taking care of? What does that mean? Does that mean that now they're now going to be in an environment and in a situation where they might have to go without because of AI? These are very real experiences of people who are feeling the ripple effect of this disruption that is going on in the workplace. It's easy to focus on the job market. It's easy to focus on perhaps even what AI is doing in the healthcare. But how is this impacting families? How is this impacting children? I don't think that people are weaker now. People are feeling the burden. Families are feeling the burden. Elderly who for a long time are used to working with their hands, and not just the elderly, right? People who never thought that their positions would be taken away are now in real positions where they have to look at loved ones and ask themselves this question: what am I going to do? How am I going to feed these mouths? And a lot of the times there are videos that go out and we're pretty optimistic that, oh no, but AI is not going to be able to take this job. And to be very honest, I think that right now, the ability for AI to do those things that people think that is never going to be able to do is being done, and it's just being thought of a better way of how to optimize it and to roll it out is just really what's in the pipeline right now. And so instead of wishing it away and instead of thinking that it's going to slow down, why not plan for a better future? Why not plan knowing that this is the new world that we live in and you don't want to get left behind? The questions that I've been asking is why? Why did removing effort increase exhaustion instead of freedom? And as I've mentioned before, people are genuinely concerned. So, and the problem and the burden has simply relocated. Why are parents more anxious, yet we have more tools? Of course, we can understand this. What is our children's future? What is the future of the children? What work are they going to do? Is everybody just going to get the same income? And is that what we really want? How do you thrive if that's the case? These are questions, very legitimate questions that people are asking. Modern life did not remove pressure. And in fact, we're seeing more and more pressure with more and more technology that is coming out that is supposed to optimize and make our life more efficient. That man losing his business is not just losing money. He's losing a story about who he is at the dinner table. It's really, when you strip it down to its bare minimum and you really think about what this means for ordinary people, you'll realize that it's not just people, it's families that are being affected by this, generations that are going to be affected by this, villages. It takes a village and communities, entire communities that are going to be affected by this. What about third world countries who've had the pleasure and the benefit of having a lot of these major companies' customer service be there? What's going to happen to those centers? Because the fact of the matter is, the tech companies who are creating these products are actively building data centers. Their focus is not building applications anymore. They've passed that level of building AI applications. Right now, they're thinking 50, 100 years from now. They think in data centers. They're thinking own the land, own the technology, own the property, so that we are going to be the ones who are going to be the providers of the needed technology in future. And the truth is, you can't be angry for people who have a conviction being thinking the way they do. I think rather we should get on the same table and just start thinking aggressively about how we're going to survive and make it as the human race. And I can imagine and I can believe that this is pretty disheartening. I'll read a couple of comments that I came across, and I thought that it was pretty telling of just where people are at from all over the world, right? Mostly, again, modern societies who are very much impacted by this AI environment right now. This person wrote, everyone's shocked hearing Yampolsky say 99% of jobs will vanish. But Selwyn Wraith was warning about this years ago. In his book, he didn't just talk about job loss, he described how AI-driven collapse would erase the very foundations of society. Work, identity, even family stability. See, at the end of the day, families, humanity, the human race, we are the most affected by it. And what is really funny, and I actually even read somewhere else, was even if we relocate to another planet, we're still going to be us. We're still taking ourselves there. So the issue is not the earth. I guess the issue is just human intent, human nature, human character that we're dealing with. And my position is, why not just deal with that? And then finally, he says, watching this video feels like watching his pages come alive. If you haven't read them yet, you're already behind. Another comment read, particularly this one touched my heart. It says, I was a software tester for a Fortune 500 company for 15 years. In 2017, my department was laid off and our jobs were sent to India. Okay. I thought that was the worst thing. To see what AI is doing to all of our jobs is frightening beyond words. I'm glad I was able to retire, but I fear for my teenage daughters and our world at large. Again, you can see the future, our future generation. What does this mean for them? We've built a world and brought slow hearts into it. And here's the thing. This pressure, this concern, these questions is certainly weighing very heavily on people, rightfully so, because the human brain was not designed for finite problems. We were, excuse me, not designed, but we were designed for finite problems. We are not created to be in this perpetual state of uncertainty, fear, anxiety. It's not even good for the human being health wise. And so the trepidation that people are experiencing right now is a very legitimate one, especially if you have children, especially if you're young. What are you going to do for the next rest of your life? Again, be encouraged, because I do believe that with this AI disruption comes a lot of opportunities. And recently in a video, Elon Musk correctly said, human spaces in the next era are going to become the most valuable thing. Community. Why? Because human beings, we are biologically wired and designed for connection. And so I'm of the strong belief that strong relationships really are going to be for us a form of resistance in this new dispensation that we find ourselves in. Let us not risk away or hope away the realities and the real risk that AI is posing to humanity right now, but rather let us be prepared for it. The parent that is worried about their 8-year-old isn't overreacting. They're sensing instability before the language forms. And so let's be aware. If you're currently in a relationship, be aware of how this very real external pressure could be weighing in on your relationship, weighing in on your relationship with your teenagers, weighing in on your relationship with your kids, family, friends who are very legitimately concerned about their future. Be aware that this could lead to arguments. Most arguments are really two scared people negotiating the future. That's just really what it is. And if you can understand that really it's just fear, and that your fear is not far fetched, and that your fear is not unreasonable, both of you will be able to put minds together and weather the storm. Human beings, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. I do believe that we are resistant and we are going to come out of this. We will. We will. I'm an incurable optimist. Again, you're not lazy. Don't think you're lazy. A lot of people are just wondering, like, where could they have gone wrong? This final comment that I wanted to share as well. Yes, she said, I know even current adults have to worry about the job market. But what about our kids now? What are we supposed to teach them? There are skills and there are areas, and there are a couple of questions that I want you to ask yourself in order to prepare for just this life that we're living in. Very four key questions, and not for me to solve your problem, but just for us to just start positioning ourselves to think the right way, because there is opportunity. Wherever there's a problem, there's always an opportunity to make it. So to think differently. The four questions I really want you to start asking yourself for you, for your family. Number one, what skills compound across industries? And I know that right now, if you're in the situation and you're feeling really frustrated by just or feeling insecure about your future, ask yourself things like communication, right? Discipline, judgment. These are things that, yes, perhaps AI will be able to do it, but as human beings, we're obsessed with each other. We are obsessed with each other. So start thinking along these lines. What skills compound across industries? So even while you still have a job, if you have work right now, currently, start thinking along that line. Number two, what makes me human first? Empathy, presence, creativity. These are things that make us human first. Ultimately, yes, we will have people who have robots in their homes and do the, in my opinion, very strange and weird thing of dating or marrying a robot. But ultimately, we are wired for connection. And I don't believe that as humans that we will be totally extinct, because I do believe in a higher power. I do believe that God won't allow this. Well, not if we don't. Number three, what lowers my dependence on one system? This, I think, is the third very most important question. I'm very much an advocate of having multiple sources of income. Even if there was never an AI disruption, there are always things that pop up in life. And I think that a very good way to think about wealth, to think about future proofing yourself in any context, right? Even outside of AI, is always thinking multiple streams of income. Because if one thing happens, then basically you're screwed, pretty much. One of the statistics showed that almost 40 to 60% of Americans do not have $1,000 saved for if there was a crisis. Now, I know some Americans might even be thinking, sheesh, $1,000, I don't even have that. I'm barely making things happen, And in the previous video that I shared, 40% of Americans and American families have medical debt. And that the chances are 1 in 4 that if something happened medically to you, definitely you might actually potentially have to go bankrupt or go in debt in order to save a loved one. And so I'm challenging us that let us get communities, get in touch with people, connect with people who are doing things that you want to do, and start thinking of multiple streams of income. Start thinking of ways of how you can build community, how you can strengthen relationships and the networks that are around you. And number 4, who am I when my role changes? This is a very pivotal question. Who are you when your role changes? When you're sitting at the dinner table and you've been given bad news, who are you still? Think on these things, and I think that when we can start framing and being ready as a people, we will be better equipped as opposed to just hoping that things will get better and then we really get blindsided and we just get caught unprepared. There are so many opportunities that you can take with AI, just even a lot of AI apps, a lot of AI courses out there, and how you can use it to set up businesses. It's not all doom and gloom. There's still industries. For example, people who do futures trading, right? That is a potential of something that you're potentially interested in. You can do that. Content creation. It might not be for everybody, but do not think that if you lose your job, that that's the end of it. And let us not also think that if AI takes 99% of the jobs, that's the end of it. Because as even the inventors and the proponents of AI themselves have shared, the next most valuable thing in this next dispensation that we're living in is going to be human connection. And that is why I am obsessed about relationships. But thank you so much for joining me on this live. I know that it's not a thing that we want to think about in terms of, oh, if AI takes our jobs, but we need to start thinking about what happens to families. We need to start appreciating and understand that families are currently feeling the burden. They're feeling the pinch. They are carrying the weight of this new era. But again, I'm excited also because perhaps this is just the disruption and the wake-up call that we as humans need in order to reach out for each other. Until next time, bye-bye.